Welcome to a new episode of Drag Racing Basics. And today we're going to talk about the red light and why you shouldn't fear the red light. Now, you don't want to go out as a general habit when you're drag racing and red light, because it's instant disqualification. It just isn't a good thing. You're done for the day in most cases and you're going home. Now, there's a couple of things you can do. And going along with the red light brings up another subject that has been breached a time or two by some of my viewers. So I'm going to take this opportunity to talk about two things. And I need something to write on here. In, on, whatever the case may be. And we'll use this notebook right here. Alright, to avoid the red light, you first have to find the red light. How do we find a red light? We go out and we practice. We go to testing tunes and we practice. We go to non-points races if you're a points racer and you practice. Gamblers races are a great place to practice. Notice I keep saying practice. Each time you launch, and I think I touched on this in the staging video, but let's take a side view of the track. And the Christmas tree's over here somewhere. You got two little beams. They're about 6-7 inches apart. I can't remember the number off the top of my head right this minute. And when you roll your tire in, when your tire hits the first beam, and I'm going to pretend this quarter is a tire and it's much bigger. When that tire rolls in and touches the first beam, the top stage light comes on. As the car rolls forward and the tire touches the second beam, the second stage bulb comes on. Pre-staged, staged. Now you got a little bit of time because the other guy, if you're the second guy to stage, then you got a little less time. If you're the first guy to stage, you got a little more time. Where a bump in comes in is if you know that you're having slow reaction times between the tree and your launch, then you can roll forward just a little bit inside of this beam gap. And what it does is it moves the center line of your tire, but it doesn't take your tire out of the beams, turning off the top bulb or deep staging. And eventually you will learn that you need to, once you got both bulbs on, you need to roll that car just a little bit more. And that little bit more is called bumping in. That's all a bump in is you're moving forward just a little bit in the beams on the stage, because it's gonna cut down. Like, let's say either you're off that day and you keep cutting a 0.120 light, or you know your car's not quite adjusted for the weather and everything and you're cutting a 120 light. Well, if you just roll in and turn on the two bulbs and barely turn on the second bulb, and you know that you're cutting a 120, and you know you got your front end tight, you got your air pressure high in your front tires, and it's all about tire pressure and reaction time. So if you got your tire pressure up and your reaction time's still off, you can't go any higher, so you got to close the distance. So some fractions of inches in this distance, maybe next time you go out and you cut an 07. And then the next time you go a little farther up. Now this is total trial and error. You got to get a feel for it. Now it's easier at your home track than when you're visiting somewhere else. And finally, you know that when you pull in, when that second bulb comes on, you need to go forward another 1.5 inches. And the goal is to keep getting ever closer to the zero. Now, what's going to happen is you're going to overshoot the zero and you're going to go red by some amount. And I just went extreme instead of 0.1. And this is when you're running around between rounds. But, you know, anywhere in the 0.03 is, you know, it's still bad that you red lit, but you're in the ballpark. And if you're really trying, and as you bracket race particularly or drag race enough, you'll realize the red light's just part of the territory, because as you try to get ever closer to a perfect light, which most people consider a 001 to be a perfect light, But in reality, it's 4 zeros or 3 zeros and a 1. You're going to red light. And until you find out where that point of red light is or locate the red light, you can't avoid it. So don't be afraid to red light when you're learning. You're still going to red light after you've been doing it for years and you're really good at it. And other people are like, oh no, I got to race that guy again. You got to watch out that you don't red light. So that's my opinion on the red light. It's not horrible to red light. It actually says you're working in the right direction. And if you're like most of us, you'll hit a point in your fledgling bracket racing career that you'll be really green and you're losing rounds because you're not cutting a good light. And then finally it'll click and you'll get the feel. And you'll hit a period where you're red, 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 red. And then all of a sudden it'll switch back the other way and you'll notice those greens that you're getting, instead of being up here, are down here in the 02, 03 range, where you really want to be, just to be in the ballpark. And then you can trim it from there as your skills get better and your seat time increases. So I hope that helps. Don't get frustrated if you're red lighting. It's part of the learning curve. And like everything else in life, with the learning curve, there's a process, and you got to go through the process to get great results. So there's a little struggle in anything worth doing. And in this particular part of bracket racing, up on the staging lane, the red light is part of that struggle. And the struggle is real. Don't let it get you down. Know that we've all gone through it. You too will get through it. Don't give up. Keep trying. You're doing this because you love to do it. So put some effort into it. You'll be glad you did. So as always, practice your skills. Whether that's not cutting a red light or maybe getting to the point that you can cut a red light. Either way, turn it into craftsmanship. You never know how far it'll take you. Until next time, this has been Fab Race Mod Repeat. Have a great day.